Hi, this is Bill Hitchcock, and last time we were working on some date functions. Now today we're going to be setting up some time functions. So I'm going to go to the second sheet on my workbook, the time functions sheet, and I want to set this up kind of like what we did for the date functions. So up at the top I'm going to type in the word now, and next to that I'm going to type in, rather than the today function, we'll type in the now function. And if we highlight some of the cells on my sheet, I don't need a whole lot here, but I want to shrink down the font size of this, make things fit a little bit nicer. Change that to font size 8. Sorry, my computer's kind of giving me some problems here. There we go, we've got that set up. And I want to widen out that column. And there you can see I get both today's date and the current time. So let me zoom in on that, make that a little bit easier for you to see. And I'll hit home. Then what I want to do is I want to assign this range name now to this cell here. So I can go up to Formulas, Create from Selection, choose the left column. Now if I click on that cell, it has the range name of now. Alright, next to it, I want to put in some increments. So I want to have the increment for the year, the month, or the minutes, and the seconds. And I'll show you what we'll be doing with that in just a minute here. So down below in cell A3, actually I think I'll come down a little bit further. That's alright, A3 is fine. I'll type in time number. That's just a sequential, just so I know how many records I've got here. 1, 2, 3 records. Let's format those. Go to home. Choose a comma format. Get rid of the decimal places. And just drag this down. I don't need many, maybe 10 or so. We've got the time. So for the time, what I want to do is, let's see, how do I want to set this one up? Let's use my starting time. And I get kind of a rather odd value here. So what I'm going to do is, that's a general format. So I'm going to change the format on this one to a time format. And there you can see when I was doing this, it was 7:47 and 30 seconds in the PM. And we've got that. So next to it, we'll have the hour, the minute, the second, so if I say equals hour, parenthesis, and reference my time, it tells me that the hour is the 19th hour, or 7 o'clock in military time, if you want to think of it that way. Minute is equals minute of this time, 48 minutes, and seconds equals second of that, and right now it's 36 seconds. Alright, so we've got that set up. Alright, so what I can do then next to it is, let's add in an increment to this. So I could say equals the previous time plus the time function of this hour, function F4, this minute, function F4, and this second, function F4. So it's adding to it an hour, and I guess in this case really 31 minutes to the previous time. So if I change this around a little bit and make this 0, make this 0, now I'm getting my time 1 hour from now. If I copy it down, we've got an hour from all of those. If we change it, make this 0, it's all the same times. If we want to know what it looks like 30 minutes from that, there we've got it that way. If we set this to 0 and want to find out what it is 5 seconds from that first starting time, we can do tricks like that. So let's set this to 0. Let's maybe try an hour and a half on each of those and see how it adds that up. So then I want to take these hours, minutes, and seconds, extract all that data. Let's copy this down so we can pull that information in there. And that works all right. So other things that we can do is if for some reason I want to know what's the total number of seconds for each one of these times, we can do total, I'll just call it tot secs. I want the tot mins and the tot hours. So total seconds is going to equal the hours times 60 minutes in an hour times 60 seconds in a minute. So 68,400 seconds. Let's use a comma format here, get rid of the decimals. Copy this down. For the total minutes, it's equal to the total seconds divided by 60 seconds per minute. And copy that one down. Let's see, what's going on here? Oh, you know what I didn't do for my total seconds? I'm just getting the hours, and that's why I'm not quite getting the right number here. So that would be the number of seconds for the 19 hours, plus I need to take the minutes times 60 plus the seconds, the 6 seconds. And now let's try copying that. And that looks a little bit better. Then finally for the total hours, it's the total minutes divided by 60. So it's roughly 20 hours. If we format this with a comma format and maybe get rid of one of the decimal places, you can see 7:52 is getting pretty close to 8 o'clock. So it's 19 hours, 52 minutes, 53 seconds. It's almost 20 hours. We'll copy this one down. At midnight, barely even an hour yet. You know, it's only 12:23, so about I guess 40% of an hour might be a way of thinking of it that way. All right, so there's just a couple quick things that you can do with some different time functions. The other thing that I've got on this spreadsheet is I had a start time, and I did a time increment. So my start time might be something like 8 o'clock in the morning. So you can just type in 8:00 a.m., put a space in there, and it formats that automatically. For the time increment, type in 2 hours. And I want just a time number and my time. So for my time number, I'm just going to take this series of numbers here, copy that off to the side. For the time, we want to start out with equal to my start time. I'll format that with the same kind of format. Use my format painter here. Format a few of these cells. And then for this one, I'm going to say it equals this previous cell plus the time increment. And hang on a second, before I do that, I've got some leftover range names. So what I had done is I had highlighted these cells, did the same thing with the formulas, create from selection, assign the range names that way. So it looks like it's already set up on the sheet for you if you download this one. Just in case you're wondering how that's working. So equals the previous cell plus my time increment. I've got 10 o'clock. Copy this one down. And there's every 2 hours. So if you change this at all, 1:30 gives you every hour and a half. You decide what you want for the increment, and it gives you those time brackets that way. So, fairly helpful if you're trying to set up doing some scheduling type work and that sort of stuff. All right, that's this part of the spreadsheet. You can narrow up the columns and do all the other cleanup work. I assume that you know pretty well how to do that, like, highlighting the first column, highlighting my last column. Oops, if I can click on the column letters, sorry about that. I better do it. Do this. I'm holding my Shift key. Click on column K. Go in between these, narrow some of that stuff up. Check print preview, see if it'll fit all right for you, and you should be good.